This container is full of stowaways, but no one was there during customs inspection. The sheriff knew the box must have been remodeled. He called one of his men into the bottom of the box, and he goes outside. Then tell your men to shoot. The location of the bullet hole explains everything in an instant. He went back to the cabinet and issued a warning. If you don't come out obediently, shoot immediately. But stowaways know. If you can't get out, you can't escape death. Mia noticed that there was still room above the wooden box, so I climbed up first. The impatient sheriff was about to order. The iron gate was suddenly open, and there's no suspense here. Sheriff shoots girl's life. Then the order began to be clear. The bullet went through the iron plate and entered the house. Everyone was instantly beaten into sieves. Mia covered her mouth tightly with her hands. I'm afraid I'll make a little sound. In the end, even the children who survived. It's hard to escape a gunshot. After the sheriff leaves with his men, he took out his phone trembling. He sent a voice message to his husband. Tell him to find a place to hide quickly, otherwise you will be shot. And at the beginning, he and his husband are actually in the same container. Unexpectedly, the tongue opened the box door again halfway through. More stowaways rushed in an instant. After a moment of confusion, Nick's tongue is placed in the other box. In this way, the two were completely separated. At this time, only Mia was left in the incense body and this nightmare trip. And so it began. Husband is alive or dead. He doesn't know. I can only leave everything to Providence. But God doesn't seem to favor him. That night there was a storm. The ship wobbled on the sea. Captain to save the ship. I had to order some containers to be discarded, and Mia's boxes in it. When I woke up the next day, it was already dawn. The entire container rotates 180 degrees and he looked out through the bullet hole. I just found out that there is Wang Yang around. He wants to contact his husband and the phone screen is broken. Took out a spare phone, but forgot the password. And it got even worse. Baby in belly. It's been a long time since anyone heard anything. The seawater is still pouring in. He immediately opened the wooden box to search for supplies. A box full of crisper boxes. The other box is a sports jacket. There's even a box of LCD TVS. But there is nothing to eat or drink. He got tape to seal the leak. Then there was a piercing roar from outside. He looked out and realized it turned out to be box 107 where my husband was located. And it's sinking rapidly at this time. After a while, it disappeared into the sea. Desperate, he pulls out a knife. Prepare to die with my husband. But then my stomach suddenly moved. It was the baby kicking him in the stomach. Mia gave up suicidal thoughts because he couldn't bear to let the baby die too. And the next day, he went on a mission. The first thing to solve his food. He opened the last wooden box, looking forward to the surprise. But the director was not so kind. Gave him another box of crisper. He scolded the director and the screenwriter at the same time. But the seal is still useful. He plugged the leak with tape. Then I found a piece of hose. The problem of water leakage and drainage was quickly solved. He wrote with tape, record daily dates and maximum water levels in carry-on luggage, and a loaf of bread and 2 bottles of fresh water and some simple outdoor items. Then the phone suddenly rang. Thank goodness it's my husband. Turns out Nick wasn't dead. He saw Mia's voice message at the time. He found an opportunity to escape the container, still hiding in the city. After learning about Mia's current situation, Nick said he would find a way to save him. Let Mia find a way to live. It's easy to say, but accidents are chain after chain. At this point, Mia's amniotic fluid has broken, and there was a storm at night. And then Nick called. Mia slipped her phone and fell into the water. As soon as the picture turned to day 3, Mia successfully gave birth to a baby. This process is too sensitive and heart-wrenching. It is not suitable for release here. The appearance of the baby gave him more hope, but new problems also arise. He has to eat to have milk. The baby can also survive, but there's nothing you can do about being trapped in the box. He remembered the handle drill, so they began to dismantle the box. So another day went by. There is only one last bite of bread left. The only can has also caught him down, but he can't give up for the baby. Finally, a few days later, a sudden rain saved him. It seems that the crisper is not useless. With water at least you can live, but it's not enough to have milk. He cheered up and continued to break firewood. What is a woman's weakness as a mother? At this moment, it is vividly reflected in Mia. He successfully opened a hole in the box. A ray of sunlight shines on his face. For him, the sun is hope. It's what keeps him and the baby alive. He got out of the box and looked around. Although the boundless Wang Yang makes people despair, but the child in his arms made him incredibly determined. He has to live no matter what. On this day, he cleans the baby's feces, throwing the old diaper into the water. The diaper is actually a sports jacket, but the diapers attracted a school of fish. Mia was very excited when she saw it. Immediately built a tool to insert fish. It goes from morning to night. Dozens of diapers were used for children, but never succeeded. As he lay down to rest, suddenly I saw a plane appear in the sky. He immediately went back to the box, smashed the LCD TV, get a piece of glass, but there was an accident while climbing out. The sharp iron plate scratched the thigh, cracked a deep bloody hole, but he didn't have time to feel the pain. The lens is pointed at the plane and starts to reflect. Back in the tank, he tries to save himself. Use wire and copper wire as needle and thread. Bijuax as alcohol disinfectant. Just endure the pain, stitch by stitch. At night he changes his mind. Weave the earphone wire into a fishing net. Put the diaper in the middle of the fishing net. Finally caught a fish. Eat it raw before it is cooked. A few days of survival allowed him to explore the experience. Eating and drinking is no longer a problem, as long as the baby is healthy and alive. For him, anything can be overcome. So Nick called again, but it wasn't good news. He managed to find a container, but in the end it was found. He was also wounded by bullets while fleeing. Now I'm on my deathbed. He called to say goodbye to Mia. I can't help but complain. Since he knew he was going to die, why do you have to tell Mia? Might as well not make this call. At least it makes Mia feel like he's still alive. In desperation, a glimmer of fantasy may be worth a miracle. Finally, Nick hung up the phone. Since then, he and Mia have been separated by yin and yang. 20 days have passed by now. The inside of the box has been filled with seawater. Mia had no choice but to stick to the top of the box. He uses crisper boxes and planks, made a simple survival valve, then wrap a rope with the earphone cable. One end is tied to the survival valve, the other end is tied to the wrist. Then a seagull suddenly appeared. Mia was pleasantly surprised to see him, because it means there must be land nearby. The anti-sky container sank. Mia struggled. Survival valve. He amassed a lot of fish bones. The goal is to attract more seagulls. I don't know how long it has been floating like this. Finally discovered by a pair of women who went to sea. The two immediately launched a rescue operation. After dragging the survival valve up, only to find out that there was a baby inside. That's when the woman found the strap. They started dragging. Seeing this, I don't know if Mia is still alive, but as a commentary I had to tell you earlier. Finally, Mia was successfully saved. Although this may not be logical, but such a brave mother. Doesn't he deserve a happy ending?